As a DJ, I felt like I was always struggling between wanting to have perfect, polished transitions, but also being flexible and being able to make quick decisions on the fly to respond to the crowd. So I built my own program to try and solve this problem. Racetrack provides DJs a totally new way of organizing music and selecting the next track during a live performance. The core idea is to save connections between tracks so that when you select one, you can see all of the other tracks that it mixes to in one place. And guess what? It's not powered by AI. This doesn't analyze your music for you or tell you what to mix. I know there's a few other programs out there that do that, but if you want a computer to listen to your music for you and tell you what to play next, I don't really know why you want to be a DJ. Anyways, back to Racetrack. So, what is a connection? A connection between two tracks is just a saved piece of information that says, this track mixes really well into this other track. It consists of an origin track, a destination track, a strength, and a comment. So these connections can be created manually. So for example, I'm just messing around and I discovered that there's a perfect transition between the song The Action and the song Problems. So I'm going to save that, and it's a great transition. So I'm going to mark it as strong. And then I'm going to put a comment saying 4-bar loop out at Q5. I find it super useful to have a little reminder if there's like a specific way that I like to do a transition. So that's why I leave the comment there. So that's how I manually create a connection, but obviously it would take forever to build an entire library of connections from scratch. Fortunately, Racetrack also makes it super easy to get you started by letting you upload your existing playlist from Tractor or Rekordbox and automatically creating connections for each track based on the order that they appear in your playlists. So let's take a look at how I might use this in a live setting. In the top right, there's the queue, which is a list of all of the next tracks that I'm going to play. So whatever track is selected in the queue, I can see all of the other tracks that it mixes to. I can choose one and add it to the queue, and now I see all of the tracks that mix out of that, and so on until I've created a list where I'm totally confident that each song transitions really nicely into the next one, and I did all of that completely on the fly in about 20 seconds. When I'm ready, I can simply drag and drop this list straight into Tractor or any other DJ software that I'm using, where I would usually have a blank playlist set up and ready to receive it. Now let's look at the Pathways section, which lets me visually navigate chains of connected tracks so that I can see all of the options of different pathways that I can take using tracks that I know mix well together. So I select a track to start and it appears at the top. Underneath it, I can see all of the connected tracks that it mixes into. If I select one of those, I can see all of the tracks that mixes into in the level below it, and so on, so that rather going straight down a playlist with no choices, I'm choosing a path through the entire library. When I like my chain that I have created, I drag it into the queue, or I can drag it straight into my DJ software. Now let's get to the coolest part. Say that there's a specific song that I really want to play soon, but I want to get there using only connected tracks. So I select whatever track I want to start from, and then I use the search bar again to enter a destination track, and it will automatically find the shortest path of connected tracks to my destination so I can get there quickly and smoothly. Okay, so let's go back to the Explore tab and check out some of the other features you can use to always find the right track in your library to play next. So the Crate track is where you can see your entire collection of tracks organized in a few different ways. When a track in the queue is selected, the top of the crate will display the connections for that track. Below that, you can see suggestions based on the selected queue track, which are automatically generated based on the track data, such as key, BPM, and tags. Below that, you will see your playlist if you have one selected, or your entire collection if you don't. And of course, you can sort all of them by BPM, key, and energy level. Now let's talk about tags and why, in my opinion, they are a far better way of organizing your library than playlists. Just like you can put a track into multiple different playlists, each track can have multiple different tags. But let's say I want to find some old school hip hop tracks. My hip hop tag contains all hip hop tracks in my library, regardless of whether they are old school or not. My old school tag contains all of the old school tracks in my library, which might include hip hop, but would also include funk, disco, etc. So if I want to see just old school hip hop, I don't need to create a whole new tag for old school hip hop. I just select the old school tag and the hip hop tag, and I set the filter to match all. Now I'm only seeing tracks that have both tags, which means I'm only seeing old school hip hop, and I didn't have to create a special new playlist or tag for that.